hello to all you wonderful APIP facilitators out there and others who are dedicated to helping people heal, grow, and evolve. I am Jojopahmaria Nsoroma, your facilitator for right now. And I'm going to do a quick opening to go through some of the value-based standard regarding self-reflection for you. And do know that the chat is definitely there for you to use. I've got a lot to share with you and only a little bit of time, so don't hesitate to put questions and comments into the chat. I will keep an eye on it. Also, the persons who are supporting me will also do that. Great.
And a journalist, you could.
I went too far. So let me give you a quick overview of what I intend to do today. Like I said, I'll go over the APIP values. We'll talk about intended outcomes, and then you're going to have a nice check-in breakout. Then we'll talk about self-reflection through books, then through videos, and then through the ancient wisdom that I keep from the Dagara tribe of Burkina Faso, West Africa. And then we'll do a quick closeout where Brittany will have some information for you. The values-based standards, and let me move my little video thing out of the way so that's not blocking. There you go. Value-based standards for abusive partner intervention programs. Of course, we're focusing on self-reflection is prioritized. And as it says here, it's about facilitating healing and growth and accountability. Everyone's impacted by systems of oppression, heteropatriarchy, settler colonialism, I call it neocolonialism. And these factors prevent one's capacity to present for others in ways that promote healing. Facilitators, agency leadership, and system stakeholders must engage in ongoing self-reflection to understand and acknowledge their privilege and power, or the illusion of privilege and power even. And then this breaks down the us versus them dichotomy that separates anti-IPV professionals from participants and provides a model of self-reflection and accountability for participants in the broader community. So the intended outcomes for today, by the end of this workshop where I'm packing a lot in, I would very much that you're able to understand why self-reflection and commitment to growth are essential components of facilitator development, to evaluate personal motivations for choices that you make as a facilitator, and then to incorporate, and let me move this again out of the way, practices, policies, and alliances that promote healing, growth, and accountability. Okay, setting your intention. I'm going to stop my share and come back so I can see people. I love seeing faces. Very important. Wonderful. So what I'd like you to do is just take a deep breath in and blow it out. And just ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this? What's my intention for being here? What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I want? Because we are such powerful beings. We can manifest stuff up the gazoo. And if we don't choose to do what works for us, we will experience what doesn't. So I want you to get out of this what you need, what works for you. Right. So let's see what I got here. All right. So now, after you have taken a moment to do that, I'm actually going to ask you to go into breakout. You'll be in a small group, about at least four people, probably no more, hopefully no more than that. There's a lot of people on here right now, 109. And what I would like you to do is introduce yourself to each other and share what's right about you. What's right about you? And you're going to have 10 minutes to do that. We'll give you a 5-minute heads up, and then, of course, the 1-minute cool down. Any questions or concerns about that breakout? Fabulous, fabulous. All right, here we go. Enjoy your check-in.
Okay, mostly everybody should be back.
All right, wonderful. So that's so important that we take a moment to connect with each other. That's one of the things I really do value about Zoom and virtual um, conferences is that it has a way for us to do that's really important. And also to focusing on what's right about you is really important because we live in a culture that is always telling you what's wrong, what medication you need, and what you're not wearing that's not right, or your teeth ain't white, and all that kind of stuff. And so we really need to shift up our consciousness and really focus on what is right so that we're helping the people we serve do the same thing. Absolutely. But it definitely starts with us. All right. I'm going to go back into PowerPoint sharing right now. I can find it. Where is it at? There it is. Okay. Share my PowerPoint, get rid of all of this stuff here. And I will hide the video panel. I don't need to see that right now. Hide floating controls. Okay, put this back into a slide. There we go. Self-reflection, and as it's talked about, why it's important from the APIP standards. But to me, the really important reason is for self-mastery. And what is self-mastery? Self-mastery is where I am choosing to be fully in charge of who and what I am, that I am taking full responsibility on whether or not I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm joyous. I've given up victim consciousness. I no longer give my power away over to people or circumstances, that I know that I can do and be whatever it is that I need to be here in this world, being fulfilled, having my happy endings, and making my contributions without getting sick, tired, and burnout. And so self-reflection is an important way for us to really practice self-mastery, which is a lifelong process. And it's really essential because this is what we need to be really modeling, not even just teaching, but modeling for those that we serve. Self-mastery is so important. So let's talk about self-reflection first with books. This is one of my favorites. It's Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. And chapter 5 talks about the pain body. And the pain body, as he says, wants to survive just like every other entity in existence. And it can only survive if it gets you to unconsciously identify with it. Yeah. So what is a pain body? So our pain body, it will invisibly and silently attract painful people, places, and situations in our lives in order to get fed. It feeds on all types of drama and any situation or experience where we feel victimized, abused, disrespected, neglected, ignored, abandoned, disappointed, unappreciated, or taken advantage of. And the pain body, as he talks about it in that great book that everybody in human services needs to read, um, is any pain that happened, especially in childhood, that wasn't acknowledged, wasn't processed at the time, and stayed dormant in us. Yeah, growing, getting fat. That's what he calls the pain body. That it's actually this other part of ourselves. And yeah, and we all know how it can really take over and mess things up. Yeah. The more the pain body is allowed to lord over our lives and attempt to satisfy its insatiable hunger, the harder and more disheartening it becomes to like and love ourselves. No matter how dignified and together we may appear on the outside, on the inside, we will be a mess. And that's part of my story. I was very successful in the beginning of my human services career. I got positions of influence. I worked at national office, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I had But baby, let me tell you, whoo, that pain that I was sitting on, that was lording over me in ways that I couldn't imagine, couldn't see. And even when people would say something to me, I took it as they're jealous of me, they don't like me. I just, again, felt total victim to circumstance. And so I know this well of how the pain body can really fool you into thinking that everything is okay when it's not. Yeah. It's also important to know that any attempts to sedate or ignore our emotional pain is futile. All forms of addictive behaviors, drugs, alcohol, indiscriminate sex, gambling, shopping, eating, etc., are evidence of a very active and hungry pain body. Yeah. So putting this pain body in check, like how can we do that? The first thing is you got to be conscious of it, right? We got to know it. And this is an exercise that I use and I use with my clients as well that is very helpful. And it is a practice, right? It's something the more we do it, the stronger we get at it. Because if you're not recognizing the pain body and able to talk it and tell it, look, you can't be driving the bus today. I'm in charge. You go sit in the back, be quiet. I'll give you a toy to play with, and we gonna get this done. And so this exercise very simple. You just get still, and you can do it in the morning. You can do it at night, and you ask yourself, how am I feeling? What am I thinking? And what am I believing about myself right now? And so I want you to take a moment, my darlings. I want you to take a moment right now. You can write it down or you can just think it. You can sing it. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I believing about myself right now? And if you come across, or when you come across some negativity, I want you to ask yourself, how is this serving me? How is this serving me to think, to feel, to believe that? How's that working for me? I see you, Carol Granum. You should get it. Yeah, girl, I know. I know, baby. Yeah, it ain't helping. It ain't gonna get you, it ain't gonna get you to the next moment. It definitely ain't gonna get you to land of happy endings. No. So why we doing it? Oh, yeah. Core wounds, historical trauma, post-traumatic stress syndrome, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Yeah, all of that. All of that. And so it's really important that we are committing every day to mastering ourselves and becoming conscious before we start interacting with other people. Please do it before you start interacting with other people. Woo. Yes. And shift that up. Somebody says, I am struggling with this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm struggling to offer hope, cautiously optimistic. Yeah, Benjamin, change that up, baby. Because hope ain't about no caution. Okay. Either you hopeful or you ain't. It's like Yoda said, there is no try. Do or do not. Got to shift that up and ask the question, how am me not being really hopeful? How is this helping? How's this helping me? How's this helping my family? How's it helping the world? How's that helping people I serve? Yeah. And it's interesting when we ask that question, it really seems to help. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said something about helps to understand how people so easily fall into feeding the pain body. Oh yeah, it's like I'm telling you, unless we wake up to it, take us out. And even after you've woken up to it, because I'm telling you all, it's a lifelong process. Because I just woke to it. got scammed on the computer by these people. And my friend told me, she said, that sounds like a scam to me. And I defended them out. And it took me about 5 minutes. And then I did my exercise. And I'm like, oh my God, I am such victim mode. And I turned it around. So yeah, even after we hit it, it can still sneak up on us. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Somebody else is just Sean Ellington just sharing what you're feeling. Yeah, that's so important. That stream of consciousness. Love it. Yeah. I keep I have so many journals, I'm addicted to them, and I probably have one for every different kind of feeling that I have. This main one, this is one, because the more that we can get it out, the better. Yeah, somebody said, "I'm feeling burnout. I'm hoping it's not affecting how I interact with my groups." It is affecting. Don't think it's not, it is. You need to take care of yourself. If you're feeling tired, you're feeling overwhelmed, and why don't we do that? Let's think about that, right? Why don't we take care of ourselves? What's stopping us? Oh, that's right. Human services, social services is it's the place where people come to be martyrs. We're supposed to be struggling and suffering. Then how are we going to help anybody else go to the next moment? How are we going to help somebody get out of their hole when we sitting up in ours thinking that's a good thing? Yeah, folks, I'm here to evolve human services, and we got to come out of all those old paradigms about you a good person if you suffering and struggling. Oh no, oh no. All you are is you're gonna be crazy, and you're gonna get them chronic diseases that historical trauma bring. And you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, diabetes, kidney failure, all that stuff. So you have a choice. You have a choice. Yeah. Somebody said, Lucas, when we suffer and martyr, all we do is model suffering. Exactly. And then we're supposed to be helping people? Really? Yeah. And see, until we all wake up to that, the system can't change because we still gone along with the program. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. And we have to take on really taking care of ourselves. Somebody said, I'm a workaholic. It makes me resilient and motivated, but I lose times with my dog and friends. Exactly. Workaholic, that's your pain body. That ain't you. That's your pain body trying to keep you from feeling that pain, which takes me to our next exercise. All right. I want you all to get ready. I want you all to get ready. I'm just giving you a heads up. I want to show you a video. I want to show you how simply it is to use something. And I know you all know this, you all pros, you get this. But sometimes we just forget how simple it is, but how important it is to really bring a moment of emotional and spiritual intelligence into the scene. So I'm going to share with you this video, award-winning little short. It's called Umbrella. Some of you may have seen it already. It's about 7 minutes long, and we're going to watch it together, and then we'll have a little say about it. Okay. I watched it this morning, it tore me up, so I didn't so I could talk to you all after watch it again this morning every time. Mm, mm. So just take a moment and keep letting yourself feel. I see Charles Orette. Hey, Charles, good to see you. Another homie in the house. Absolutely. Yeah, Jillian, it hits you right where you feel. Absolutely. This is award-winning film, was up for in the Oscar contention. Comes from Spain. Spanish artists put it together, but look how universal, right? How universal all that is. The other really powerful thing about this film is there's no words. It's no words. And it goes straight to our hearts. Yeah, that part. Marisol, absolutely. Don't need no words. Absolutely. Absolutely. We get it. Unfinished patterns from the past, which are stored in the heart. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I can teach from this all day about the impact of your core wound, your childhood trauma, and how there's treasure in it, right? He actually is able to have become an entrepreneur because that umbrella symbolized so much for him. And that's a reality that we can get treasure from the wound. But that, yeah, that pain is always there. Still looking for his daddy. Exactly. Absolutely. Because I think the ancestor came, was just peeking in on him, making sure he okay. Yeah. Yeah. The umbrella was how he created meaning from his pain. Absolutely. That's what I mean by the treasure in the trauma. There's always treasure in trauma. Yeah. Yes, the reality of transformation. Yes, Paul. Yeah. Absolutely, Marisol. Many of us are in this profession because of our pain. Yeah. Making a living and transforming lives. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. But this is what we, in this rush around culture, this culture that actually has somebody putting a chip in their brain. God only knows why. I'm praying for him, and especially involved with Elon Musk. I'm praying for him. This denial of the beauty and the genius of the human body itself as it is. And yes, we can do enhancements, but not for crazy stuff. That's just crazy. But some of that, those kinds of choices and behavior, to me, it comes out of that pain body being in control and not getting a chance to really get released. And the releasing has to happen from feeling. You've got to feel the pain to release it. And so in this culture, we need supports to do that. We need aids, things that are going to help us get into our feelings. When I feel stuck, when I start to get overwhelmed, that is a message to me that I need to release. I need to cry. And I carry ancient wisdom, so I have rituals I can do. But sometimes I just go put on my movies that are going to get them tears out. And this is definitely one of them. Another one is The Whale Rider. Oh my God, that movie. There's certain scenes in that movie that just take me out, just make me wet. And so we need to know that. We need to know what are the tools, what are the resources in terms of art, literature, music. Somebody talked about a Jeffrey Tall song, Taking Chance with Kevin Bacon. Yeah. Whatever that is for you, know that's a gift and to use it. Give yourself permission to use it so that you are really allowing yourself to feel. Because as we know, this is a big issue for persons involved in domestic violence. They are transferring their pain because they don't know how to transform it. And this is one of the ways that we transform pain, when we allow ourselves to feel, when we allow ourselves to cry. Everybody know Brene Brown and her talk, right, about what it really means to be vulnerable, what vulnerability really is. It's not a weakness, it's a strength, it's a resource. Absolutely. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Yeah, so wonderful. All right. Any other comments before we move along? Until you're vulnerable to accept feedback, nothing changes. Absolutely. Paul Berkram, that's so right on. Yeah. And how do we get to there? You know, what has to happen for us to be vulnerable enough? And I think it's that you do get overwhelmed, you're at a breaking point. The pain becomes so overwhelming that you're no longer willing to not address it because you tried everything else and nothing's worked. Yeah. And that's when it's time to go in, do that self-reflection so you can have your self-mastery. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said we need to feel safe enough to feel our feelings. Exactly. We need to be in a place and people where we feel safe to be your authentic self. Yeah. And no, again, we're not victims around that. We can create that. We can create safe environment because that's what you're doing when you're working with your clients, if you're working directly or even if you're in administration. Your job is to create a safe environment for healing and growth and evolution. So we do know how to do this. We just need to do it for ourselves. We need to call it up for ourselves. Who are those people in our lives that we can be vulnerable with? Let them know that. Thank you. Like my sister, I thank her. Thank you so much for being one of my go-to places, one of my ports in a storm where I can let it out. I can say what I'm feeling and thinking and believing. And I know it'll be listened to. She don't try to take on controlling, telling me what I'm supposed to do. Just listen. Just, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Ah, Lisa Pacello. We need to be able to play. Absolutely. I have a friend who's a teacher, and part of some of the new methodologies and things they're trying out, trying to fix the educational system. And she said there's this whole movement now about really helping children be able to play because it was taken away from them. Kindergarten was now like second grade. There was no more playing in the sandbox or with the puppets. We used to have these puppets, these rubber puppets when I was in kindergarten. Yeah, I'm old school. But it was so much fun. See, I remember those puppets. There was a doctor and a nurse and a fireman and a policeman, and you just played with them puppets in the sandbox. Yeah. And we need to play. And as adults, we need to play. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully our basic needs are met so our minds are not in survival mode. Exactly. And that's another piece, Carol Grundman, that we can choose to shift out of. We really can. There are people in situations that really are survival mode for real. But I think right here, especially in the United States, for those of us as professionals, we act like we in survival mode when we're really not. Survival mode is when you don't have a choice or you only have a few choices. We have a lot of choice. Yeah, absolutely. Do you sometimes feel that unresolved issues pop up when trying to help others? Absolutely. Oh, thank you for this question, because let me tell y'all something. Here's how it really works. When you go into a room with whoever you're working with, or even with your colleagues, all that can show up is what you're believing about yourself. And also, the reciprocity that happens when you are working with people who are looking to you for guidance is that they're bringing you your stuff. So I would always see the group of men I was working with as me, some aspect of me. There's my pain, there's my stubbornness. Oh, there's my rage and my anger. Oh, there's my fear showing up. I would see that as me. And the reason that's so important is so that what? Yeah, I'm staying conscious of, I ain't got it all figured out either. I still got to do my work. Yeah. I still got to do my work. So that's, yeah, it will bring up, you will get activated. You will get activated doing this work. And again, that's why it's so important to really be asking yourself, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I believing when you feel that disruption going on? Yeah. And what is happening is that there's something for you to heal, something for you to heal. Yeah. Like I tell people with children, oh, you're so lucky you have children. I've never had any children, but I have all these children that never came through my body. But when you're really raising children, that's what's going on. You're getting activated around your stuff. So now I want to share with you the Dagara medicine wheel and how that supports us in our ability to self-reflect and to self-master. Let me find that slide beginning here for you. And I'm going to share my screen. Into slideshow mode. Okay. So there's this beautiful medicine wheel, and it's a spiritual tool that honors the universal elements of fire, water, earth, minerals, means stones, bones, and shells, and the evolving entities of nature, which are plants, animals, and humans. And this medicine wheel, it's a cosmology. It's cosmology. It is an ancient understanding of how the universe works. And so each one of these elemental energies, these are things that humans cannot create. They're portals of information, of energetic to help us be in alignment, be in right relations with the truth of who we are. Yeah. And the other beautiful thing about the medicine wheel is it presents a picture for community where everyone is included and acknowledged as essential, because these 5 components create harmony and balance. Water is not better than fire. Earth is not better than mineral. Nature is not better than fire. They're just different. And it takes all of this coming together and acting together for there to be life, and life that is generative, life that is able to produce new things. Also in this is the element of death. That's what nature's about. It's about that cycle of change, of death and rebirth. But it's not about destruction. That's a very different kind of energetic. Yeah, that we humans do very well. So what I'd like to do is take you through the medicine wheel, what I call healing foci, and have some questions for you to contemplate. Again, you can write them down if you'd like, or you can just think this as we go through it, and then we'll have some say about this experience of going through the medicine wheel. So fire is associated with forgiveness and truth. Forgiveness and truth. And forgiveness isn't about letting somebody off the hook. Forgiveness is about releasing the pain that was transferred onto you and letting go of hoping for a different past. That's truly what forgiveness is. And it's not an intellectual exercise. It actually is a grace that comes upon our hearts and our souls to release us from being resentful or attached to somebody's wrongdoing. Of course, forgiveness is also about ourselves. We always include ourselves when we do a fire ritual. Always forgive ourselves for when we have gone out of alignment, when we have gone against the truth of who we are. So here's a contemplation for you. What are you angry about right now? And for whom and why are you holding resentment? Take a moment with that. What are you angry about? And for whom and why are are you holding resentment? Okay, let's move on to water. And the element of water is associated with peacemaking and emotional intelligence. Peacemaking and emotional intelligence. And here's a contemplative question. What are you regretting? And what are you anxious about? What are you regretting? And what are you anxious about? Okay, now let's go on to earth. And earth is associated with valuing of self and others. Reverence for life, it should say, my spelling error. At home in the world. Valuing of yourself, having reverence for life, and feeling at home in the world. And here's a self-reflection. To whom and what are you giving your power away? And where in your life are you experiencing unworthiness? Again, to whom or what are you giving your power away? And where in your life are you experiencing unworthiness? Okay, next element is mineral. And mineral is associated with remembering higher purpose, living in clarity and commitment. And by the way, using the Dagro medicine wheel, I align it to the year and the month and the week that we are in. And so 2024 is a mineral year. And that means that there's a lot of energy for us to remember purpose, reclaim purpose, get clear about purpose, live on purpose. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a very powerful year. It's got a lot of stuff going on this year. Should be very important for us. So here's the contemplative question. What are you confused or unclear about regarding your experience of life? What are you confused or unclear about regarding your experience of life? And then, last but not least, our final element is nature, plants, animals, human associated with, and it's about accepting and welcoming of change and growth. It monitors that cycle of death and rebirth, of growing, of expansion, of contraction to expand. It's unpredictable and it's necessary. Yeah. And here's the contemplative question for you. What changes are you most afraid of in your life right now? What change or changes are you most afraid of in your life right now? Okay. I'm going to look at the chat, but also to process this. And please, you can unmute yourself and share out loud if you'd like. How did it feel? How did it feel doing this exercise? And mad, sad, glad, scared, or numb? Something up to that. Somebody asked me to repeat how I define forgiveness, I will. It's about letting go of the pain that was transferred onto you by someone or by yourself too, because we do a lot of self-harm, right? A lot of self-sabotage. And it's also something that is not intellectual. It really is an energetic gift that we feel I'm freed up. I'm no longer feeling that resentment. I'm no longer feeling that attachment. Yeah. Forgiveness is much more than what we learned as a kid, right? You did something, took your sibling's toy, mama says, apologize. I'm sorry. Say it like you mean it. I'm sorry. That's how we first experience forgiveness. And then we use it like it'll get us out. That's our past. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm just. And then finally, we get to a point where we realize how powerful it is and how powerful it is for transforming pain. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said my clients love when we discuss forgiveness. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, a very important one. Angry about an office procedure which negatively affects clients. Yeah. I try not to entertain regret. Yes, don't entertain it, transform it. Regret having taken so long to see my trauma-driven behavior, which I'd spent more time with some before my son before he became adult and went off to college, anxious, feeling short of expectations. Yeah, Sean Ellington, just know that it's never too late. It's never too late. Yeah. A lot of times we aren't ready when kids first come out because we still kids ourselves. You have to give yourself time to grow. And what's most important is that you get to that point where you're able to be for your children what you would want your parents to be for you. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, this is so important. We have to get this out. Somebody said powerful. Giving power away to media support of fascists, unworthiness, not just sure work justifies my pay. Yeah, I can tell you right now it doesn't. Uh, I took a hiatus from human services and went and sold Saturn cars for a year. I made more money selling Saturn cars than I did saving the children. And that blew my mind. And that's what really helped me say, I got to change the system up because this, see what they were doing. And did I tell you about Pluto? The 9-year journey to go and take a picture of Pluto and all the energy that went into that, the focus of money that went into that, and yet we still got children starving. What is this about, people? I don't understand it. And Elon Musk and others thinking they can go to Mars and be okay. Really? Really? Yeah, don't get me started, don't get me started. So no, we are not appreciated enough, but I'm gonna tell you folks, it's coming from us. We gotta shift up how we see ourselves and how we value ourselves. And we have got to realize that we are some of the most important persons on the planet, besides the people out there picking crops and growing food. Like that's essential. Them the real important people on the planet that we treat like crap. Yeah, so there's a lot that needs to shift over these next 30 years. I'm hoping we see this. Yeah, earth valuing of self and others, reverence for life and feeling at home in the world. Absolutely. Giving my power and life away to capitalism and I feel unworthy, lacking in my relations to my parents. Yeah, yeah. And let me tell you about capitalism because people don't know history enough. But the guy who really lays it out and creates it, you know why he was doing it? He was doing it to end poverty. And his notion was because, back in the day in Europe, if you didn't belong to the royal family or you were part of the court, you were a courtesan, you wasn't getting nothing. Or you had a special skill, like if you were one of the stone cutters that worked on the cathedrals, or you were a shoemaker, something like that. But if you didn't have anything, there was no other way for you to get out of poverty. Not at all. And I'm blocking on the name because I am old, folks. But and he wrote this book, and in this book you get all this philosophy he has about getting people out of poverty. That's what capitalism was developed for. What happened? The trains went off the track. Absolutely. How to simply release past experiences, embrace the present moment. Past, no future, just the present. No, Tamar parameters. And I know there's a lot of new age people out there talking about you got to be present. Don't worry about the past and the future. That's crazy. We're going to worry about them. But here's the thing, use it. That's what we don't use. We don't use it. We don't use the past enough to inform our present and our future. We don't use the future enough to reshape our present. So it really, to me, is about using these states of time rather than ignoring them or feeling victimized by it. Because the present state, yeah, we get into that, but we're not supposed to just stay in that. You can't, you won't. So don't set yourselves up for that. No. It's about how am I using my past? Is it a chain around my neck? Have I not done the work on my family wounds? I need to do that, break that up, start using it, turn it into the treasure. What about my future? What am I anxious about? Oh, I'm going to get old and die because that's what they tell me on television. I'm going to need this medication, that kind of thing. No, don't go there. That's all made up. If you want that, you can have it, but you don't have to. I lived with a woman, she was in her 90s, 96 years old. She drove her Prius up until a month before she died. And when she died, she was ready. She was clear. And it was okay. And her motto was happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, die. And that's how she lived her life. Yeah. 96 and she was ready to go. She had no regret. She was good. And that taught me how it can be different. We don't have to sit up in fear. Yeah. Yeah. Confused about all of this responsibility and how can I really work with my passion to help others. That's beautiful, Ruby Marks, because just being in that state that you're questioning the responsibility. Oh my God, that's such a gift because we don't realize how huge a responsibility it is. We don't realize how much influence we have over another person's life. We have a lot of responsibility. And so I tell people all the time, and people look at me like I'm crazy, but not everybody can do this work. I'm sorry. They make it like it's, oh yeah, this is what you do. If you ain't got nothing else you want to do, just go out and be a social worker, go out and help somebody. No, it's huge. And you have to be doing your self-mastery work if you're going to really help other people. So it comes with a huge personal responsibility to yourself as well as to others. Yeah. Thank you for being questioned about that. We have to look at that. Whew. Absolutely. Somebody said about not being in control. Yeah, Ruby said about not being in control. Exactly. Control is an illusion. The kind of control that in Western culture we think exists. Yeah, that is an illusion. But we have the power of choice, which to me is a part of controlling over ourselves. Self-mastery is about that. I can choose not to be a victim to life. I can choose to value myself. Yes. Yes, the death of loved ones definitely brings stuff for us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Angry about not being heard. Oh my God, I could go on, but I'm going to stop because of the time. And I promised Brittany that I would give her time for, what's his name? I just want to share quickly with you that I am going to be doing the Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery for Human Service Professionals this year. I'm going to be doing 2 cohorts, and I'm going to put a link into the chat box where you can, and if I can make this happen, where you can come onto a free Zoom that I'm going to do where I just get to invite everybody and introduce myself and give people some more background on it. So just know that is happening. That will be happening. And so I'm going to stop and let Brittany take it away, and I'll give you the link into the chat box.
All right. Thank you so much, Jojopah, for that amazing session. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on another one of JoJo's past sessions, maybe a few years ago, and I always learn so much. So I'm just so grateful that you were able to share all of that with these wonderful participants who've been able to join us today.
Wonderful. I love you all madly. I'm so grateful that you're on the planet at this time, doing what you're doing, being who you're being. Know that you are not alone. We're all in this together. And please be well, be safe. Ashe.